The frequent changes in the leadership at the Niger Delta Development Commission has taken a toll on the ability of the Commission to deliver on its mandate. Among those affected by these frequent changes are those who handle the Commission contracts as well. This is why the Association of NDDC Contractors is calling on the federal government and politicians to stop meddling in the affairs of the Commission and allow those appointed to run the Commission to do their work. Well, the chairman of the NDDC Contractors Association, Elohor Adia Joe, joins us now to discuss the need for stability and the reformation of the Commission to enhance efficiency. Thank you so much for being here on Arise News. All right, then let's get straight into it. Now, I want to first get your perspective, first off, on the recent dissolution of the NDDC Board by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What implications do you believe this will have on the development and, of course, the governance of the Niger Delta region?
Well, the dissolution of the board of the NDDC definitely will have a very vast effect on the commission, because the board was inaugurated in January, I think January 4th to be specific, and till now it's about 6 months going, which is not enough for any thing to really happen meaningfully. But well, with their discretion, they decided to retain the MD, Mr. Sam Ogbuku. And, you know, I think consistency or continuity is something that the federal government should be looking at. Because given a short period of time, it's not enough for them to try to raise policies and start to implement the policies. So it will definitely have effect on the contractors. Like, for instance, if projects that were prepared for payments, like they go from state offices to the head office in Port Harcourt, and an IPC is raised, which is a document, interim payment certificate, then it goes to finance, where vouchers are raised, TSA is raised, and if a new management comes in, they go right back to PMS, which delays the process of contractors getting their payments.
So would you say that what you just highlighted is part of what has, contributed to some of the challenges you've experienced when it comes to, payments? We also know that there are allegations that international oil companies owe NDDC contractors well over $800 million. But do factors like that also contribute to what you're experiencing with the financial issues?
The truth is, IOCs not really remitting what they are supposed to remit. Once there is inconsistency in any management, it creates a lot of fears for those people that we are expecting funds from. And at the end of the day, like I will say, if the IOCs and even the federal government, they see that the system is not run the way it is supposed to run, that is by today one board is coming, the next second they are not even sure if they will be there, and so on and so forth. Definitely it will affect the IOCs, because they want to be sure that when they remit their own quota to NDDC, it is properly managed. They want to be sure. So the federal government needs to create that confidence to say, this is a board or this is a management that has been appointed. For crying out loud, we are not the ones that chose the people that we appointed. It is the federal government. But the point we are raising here is, if you bring the people in and they are getting used to the system, allow them do what you brought them in to do. Instead of interfering in the issues concerning management today, somebody's lobbying to become the MD of NDDC, tomorrow another one wants that one to be out, and so on and so forth. It's a huge problem to the contractors. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens from the federal government to the management of NDDC, we, the contractors, are the ones that are suffering.
All right, then. So if we're looking at this, the dissolution of the NDDC board, it of course provides an opportunity for restructuring and improved governance. I mean, some would say that looking at the continuity, that's why Mr. Samuel Ogbuku and the two others were left after dissolving the board, so that there's that chance for them to continue with other projects. But if we talk about inclusion, a few weeks ago, I had a representative of the Ilaje Riverine people in Ondo State who have been advocating for inclusion when it comes to the board, and even when it comes to the contracts that is gotten. Do you believe that there should be an increased involvement by the Ilaje Riverine people and their contribution to bridging the development gap in their region and ensuring that their specific needs and concerns are adequately addressed? I want to know what your take is on that.
Fine. Involving them in the governance of, that is in the running of the NDDC, well, I don't see any problem with that. But what I want to bring out here is, we've gone through a series of boards and management MDs in NDDC. Like they say, oh, it is our time to be involved. But the question I ask is, even if you come from that area and you are not able to make any meaningful impact on the community, of what use? We should graduate to a place in this country where we should merit certain positions, and what we are able to do should be the priority, not where somebody comes from. We should be able to focus on this person coming from this so and so place. Is he able to perform to expectation? I think that should be, like we, the contractors in NDDC, we are not the one that chose the management or the board. We are there. We are the receiving end. We are the ones that went out to borrow monies from banks and financial institutions to execute our projects. Now you bring in a board chosen by you, and you won't allow this board to work. We are saying we don't care where the MD comes from. Sam Ogbuku is there. No personal, well, we've known officially, but no person, I don't know him before now, but we've known officially, and we are relating. And he's been able to understand the plight of the contractors. We've been talking, and he has factioned out a strategy on how to pay contractors. That is what we are interested in. We are not interested in where he comes from. I'm from Delta State. He does not need to come from Delta State before he will meet my needs. I'm a contractor. I did my projects on a plain ground. That is not putting into consideration where I am coming from. So if he is there, they brought him in there. So let it not look as if it is contractors that agitated that he should come. They brought him in there, and now we have been able to establish a relationship. So the point is, allow this man to do what he can do. Okay, fine. He's a very innovative man. Allow him implement those things that he has put in place so that we should be able to achieve something. A new management comes in now, then we are going back to the drawing board. I mean, it does not help the commission, and it does not help contractors. A lot of contractors are dying by the day because of this lack of payment. And when the system is not running, the federal government is at its end, trying to pull down. In fact, Abuja connection has crippled NDDC. The National Assembly, they can't allow NDDC. They will be making, threatening, that is, we will do this and do that if you don't pay us. I don't understand this. They should allow NDDC to run as a government agency on its own. Allow him run. Let him pay the contractors that are working. We are the ones that are working. It's the National Assembly that does the contract, or the ministers, or the connection from the clique from the villa. We are the contractors that did this job. We borrowed money. They can't be capitalizing on our payments to make money. Are they not receiving their allowances? Everybody's the National Assembly, they are receiving their allowances. Ministers, they are receiving their allowances. Even NDDC staff, they are receiving. But the contractors are the ones that are not being paid. So we are saying they should allow the MD to do what he needs to do, for God's sake. Let there be some consistency in this whole system. A board is supposed to run for 4 years, but, okay, look at it now. January, they were inaugurated, and now they are talking about something else. It is not, who is suffering? The contractors. Is that the deal? And it is not a political organization. The projects we carry out in the Niger Delta region, they are projects that everybody passes through. The development in Niger Delta covers everybody. Whether APC, PDP, or whatever, it's for everybody. So they should allow NDDC to run the way it should run. This thing is getting out of hands. And we want to let the federal government know that do what is right. Let the people, look, we have a voice. The Niger Deltans have a voice. That we are not choosing the person that will come and run NDDC. You've brought somebody that we say, okay, we are already relating. Let him stay and work what he needs to work. For God's sake. If they pay from 1 to 20 million, for instance, which he has already started implementing gradually, the funds are not coming in. Why will funds not come in? When there are no battles everywhere, what are you battling, for God's sake? You brought in this man, let him work.
Now, when it comes to...
That is what we are interested in. Contractors are not interested in who comes in.
Duly noted. But when it comes to the response of the federal government and also the IOCs, I'd like to know what's response that you've received in terms of the funds that you're owed being paid. What has the response been?
You see, it's a normal official language in Nigeria or political language in Nigeria when they say we are working on it. Working on it means you are doing nothing, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a politician. So, if you say you are working on it, we should see what you are working. Next week they will pay, they will release funds. Next week becomes the next month. They should, see, let me tell you, the federal government should attach importance to the needs of the Niger Deltans through NDDC. A single payment that is made in NDDC affects families. You are talking of what I don't know, palliatives. Pay what you are owing before you give palliatives. Pay what you are owing contractors legitimately. The payment is not trickling down because enough funds are not coming into NDDC. The IOC, as a matter of responsibility, should know that people are involved in projects, borrowed monies. A lot of contractors have died. I've repeated this again and again. Do we allow this to keep happening? Okay, we did wrong to do contracts in NDDC for the federal government. Is it the wrong thing that we have done? They should take responsibility. They should release funds for NDDC, and the funds should be monitored, and the National Assembly should allow NDDC run as it is supposed to run. With the relationship with the management and the contractors, we will lay down guidelines on or strategies on how to liquidate the debts. The debts are really humongous. We can't continue like this. That is just the truth. We don't want to start fighting. We don't want to start protesting. The whole of some time now we've been protesting, but now we already established a relationship. We need the federal government to listen to us. The people should have a say. We, the contractors, we should have a say, because you can't be taking decisions on our behalf that are not beneficial to us. You can't bob our hair in our absence. If you want to implement anything, invite us, let us be there. Then let us see how you will tell us that you will not release funds for NDDC for them to pay us. Well, if you do a job, you should be paid.
Well, you did mention that you don't want to resort to protests. And you also stated that you're being told that it's being worked on, which means nothing to you. So in the event that these issues are not addressed as quickly as you would like by the IOCs or the federal government, what would be your next course of action?
Well, I will not say what will be our next line of action. But first of all, we are calling on the federal government to do what is right. First of all, we are saying the inconsistency of the management is the major crisis we have in NDDC. The major crisis. We get to a certain point where we expect that payments will start to flow, put things in place, strategize, and all of a sudden the board is removed. So we are saying the federal government should let NDDC run the way it is supposed to run. We've gotten to a point. Let us continue and try to see how we can finish what they have started. That is our point, our first point. Then we can now come and talk about federal government. See, we are ready to engage federal government, and very soon we will be doing that. Because we feel that even the MD coming to meet federal government to release funds, it will look as if he has a personal interest. We contractors, we are the victims. We will come to meet the federal government, let them give us funds to be paid. You are not paying the money into my account. You are paying the money into the commission, and they, in return, will pay us. So So if you are treating the MD as if you employed him, fine. But we are contractors. You gave us project, and you are supposed to pay us. In our contract agreement, it is stipulated there that in 60 days, if we are not paid, a 5% interest is supposed to be added to whatever you owe us. But you have not even paid us the principal money. Can we be talking about the interest? But if it is me that is owing the federal government, they will arrest me and take me to EFCC or DSS. But the government is failing on this part. We've done our jobs, so we deserve to be paid.
All right, then, I understand your the grievances, but let's talk about, the fact that the Minister of the Niger Delta Ministry had in January revealed that contracts worth over 250 billion was awarded during the forensic period without due process. Now, the findings of the forensic editors were consistent with the earlier findings by NATI, which underscored that the mismanagement of resources and corruption in the Commission was as alarming as it was embarrassing. Now, as the chairman of the NDDC Contractors, what have you done personally to make sure that the parties involved are prosecuted to date for malfeasance revealed by the forensic audit?
Okay. I want to bring a reminder to you. If you remember at the National Assembly, we had a public hearing some years back. And I was there. And I was able to bring to knowledge how during the period of the forensic audit, there was a lot of fraud that went on there. So they called for a public hearing at the National Assembly, which I was present there by the grace of God. And I brought out all these things. All those evidences we brought out, at the end of we were rolled under the carpet. Nothing was done by the federal government. We are just citizens of Nigeria. Even if we try, we spent over 2 weeks on that public hearing. At the end of the day, nothing came out of it. So whose fault? It's the federal government's fault. So we are calling on the federal government to take responsibility for these things. If somebody is manipulating or misappropriating funds, it should be brought to book. Simple as ABCD. That is it. The federal government should take responsibility.
Okay.
The forensic audit, like I said, is a fraud on its own. It's a fraud on its own. I say that with all authority. It's a fraud. The forensic audit, can you carry out a forensic audit without involving the contractors? You just came delayed, brought a lot of bills, monies were stolen here and there by that program, forensic audit. It's a deceitful program. So where is it right now? Where is it? They should start engaging us with unnecessary things to delay the process of paying contractors. You are owing us, pay us for God's sake.
Noted. When it comes to internal issues within the NDDC, can you fill us in on, I'm sure it's not a perfect setup, but could you fill us in on some of the challenges that should be tackled from within as well? That could also make things much smoother. Briefly, please.
Yes, we will say, of course, there are internal crises there, which we believe are easy to resolve. Like the management that is there right now, definitely we have some little issues, internal crises here and there, documents missing and stuff like that, delay in processing of documents, some documents hanging somewhere, and so on, all to delay the process that will get us result of payments. But I believe those are just minor issues, because those are issues we can wade into as contractors. Because the bottom line is, at the end of the day, we are the victims. We borrow monies from banks and financial institutions to carry out projects. So we are the victims. Anything happens to NDDC today, we are the ones that are victims. We are the ones that will suffer. So we will wade into those internal situations, if there are any. I think they've been able to resolve relatively some of these internal crises, and we are progressing. So what is left right now is really the responses from the federal government, IOCs, and even ecological funds, everything. Let them come in so that we can move forward. Idea, we can't move forward when debts are hanging on our necks. Contractors are dying. They can't even pay school fees of their children. They can't even pay house rent. Every day we are judging one matter. Families are broken. and so on and so forth. They should be taken seriously. We believe that the MD will be able we sit down and talk. He feels our plight. And if funds are there, he will do more than he's doing right now. And we are calling on the National Assembly to let NDDC go because we will take it up with them. It's our right to be paid for what we have done. Allow these people run this organization, this commission, as it is supposed to be. Payments, National Assembly, this, that. Please, contractors, we have done our jobs. Let us be paid.
All right, then that's a good place to leave it. Chairman of the NDDC Contractors Association, Elohor Adia Joe, thank you so much for your time on Newsday.